So where would the capital expenditures go, if any, for the ministry?
Well, I should explain that we have to go to PIMSEC before we get a capital budget. Well, well, no capital budget. What capital budget did I say we're going to do?
No, she has expenditure, but no capital budget.
It's SDF allocation, right? That's where it's coming from. And that's not treated as a capital budget.
Okay. Member Hines?
123.
Continue, Member Hines. Continue.
No.
You're finished?
No. You had your chance. You spoke very long this morning.
You're
JADCO,
finished?
Minister JADCO, can you indicate what sort of resources have been provided to JADCO to improve on its work nationally, not just at the elite level, but at the information and educational level for the young sports personalities around the country? First question on it.
All right, now, JADCO, the JADCO was provided with $28 million. And JADCO is the flagship anti-doping entity in the English-speaking Caribbean for water. Their public education program is very intense. You will see them wrapping buses and bus stops, and they go into the schools. They have a very extensive program in terms of the public education program, and they're at all the events to ensure that testing is done, and they also go into the schools with a very detailed education, anti-doping education program. They do workshops and several seminars. So JADCO's public education program is very intense. And especially for they go into the schools.
And it's 28 million allocated. Where is this in the estimates?
All right, now it is part of goods and services of the 144 million. Their public education program comes out of the use of goods and services budget.
Okay, how much of that is for salaries / administration?
None.
None?
That is, right, compensation of employees is 188 million, and you'll see that there, yes.
Okay. All right, I am aware of JADCO doing testing, reaching out to athletes at different times because there are different rules to make. I am aware when athletes run afoul of the law or of the rules that they are brought to book, and you have a tribunal that meets and try these people. What I am not so sure about is your appeals unit and the independence of it, how it's constituted, and how it operates.
The appeals tribunal, the secretariat operates out of the ministry. It does not, it's not connected to JADCO. It's an independent body under the legislation.
Okay. All right. Yes. So on the public bodies page, I want to ask about,
Member Hines, you have any more questions in the
yes, I'm
estimates
just,
of expenditure? Or just
I'm
public
waiting on the
bodies
minister
now?
to,
No, I'm asking if you have any more in expenditure. You had gone to public bodies and you're gone back to it, so I'm wondering if you are closing
no, I'll
off
stay with public bodies.
in public bodies.
So I'll close from the expenditure.
He's
Yes, in the public bodies,
Thanks.
you spoke about the association and the extra grant or the other grants that you have in terms of athletes' welfare. Will you consider supporting athletes leading up to major international events before, allow me to finish, Minister, before the athletes have been qualified to make the team to go away? Now, I know that you do when people get qualified, they get some support. I'm talking about the development meets. Athletes who are from rural Jamaica who don't readily have access to transportation to come to a training facility where they can train, especially track athletes. Athletes who don't have the resources to buy the equipment to play cricket, which is quite expensive. We tend to support persons when they already made the team, they're already in the team. What about the persons with the talent, the passion, the hunger, and the ability to do well, to perform at world-class level? Would you consider under this athletes' welfare that you have to start to expand your program to incorporate more persons who need the support and need that help to take them to the international level so that we can all celebrate them, not when they are world champions, but that we remember them before they get there?
We do have an athletes' welfare fund operating out of the Sports Development Foundation. And in addition to that, through the sports branch in the ministry, we also provide support to athletes even before they qualify. Once a request is made and we confirm that the support is needed, we provide the support.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Madam Minister.
Thank you.
Thank you, Member Hines, Member Gordon.
Thank you, Madam
Minister,
Chair.
you will now be required to take the list of questions and you will respond at the end. Member
My
Gordon.
turn? Thank you, Madam Chair. Minister, I'm your biggest cheerleader when the construction of the stadium starts. But I'm not seeing anything in this current fiscal year for capital project. Could you say when you anticipate that development of the stadium will commence? Against the background, Minister, whereas we have ranked number 3 on the list for consecutive years, almost a decade, we are in the top 5. And it's about time, Minister, we host one of these major events.
We really want to avoid making the same response over and over. Minister would have indicated before, and I've checked even previous year, the capital budget for Ministry of Culture and Sports is not here in our estimates of expenditure. So Minister, succinctly, just help the member to appreciate that money from Chase to the Sports Development Foundation, when raised, is what is available to spend. Succinctly.
Madam Chair, if I could just explain. We have 500 plus million in pre-investment. So we are in the pre-investment stage for the National Stadium.
This is,
So we're at the design stage.
this is
When
46,
we get
this
to
is
the
46,009 under Sports Infrastructure and Development Management, the 552 million. That's where you're directing me.
I want. $46,004. Look at that page. And the process is this. We will not get a capital budget until we get to construction stage. Right? We are in the pre-investment stage now. So you will not see the National Stadium appearing as on the capital budget.
Okay.
Right?
Minister, for decades, our athletes have distinguished us on the national and international stage. I am wondering if the time is now to partner with the Ministry of Tourism to monetize those days that the athletes are on show at the national level. What is the cost of placing an ad on a major network? Could we use some of that funds to assist the athletes? For example, our biggest team ever to an Olympic game was 56.
Anyways, Mr. Gordon, you're getting over latitude. That's not a question. So.
It's a question I'm
Yeah, I forgot your
asking
question.
whether or not it is timely to monetize the number of days that we have received televised which benefit another ministry. If some of that money could be flow back to assist the athletes.
So remember. Next question, Member Gordon. Next question, Member Gordon.
So why is the minister restrained from answering?
Because that's her instructions. If you have been listening to the proceedings, this is the mechanism that is being used.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. As it relates to Sabina Park, Minister, the iconic Sabina Park, it is in a state of disrepair. And there is confusion with Kingston Cricket Club and Sabina Park Holdings as to who own the boxes. What is it you intend to do to, one, regularize that, and to ensure that we get returns back to the coffers of the government for that investment? Thank you.
The answer to that question is...
Minister, you have any other question, Member Gordon? That's it for you. Next member will be Member Buchanan. Go ahead, Member. Oh, Russell first. Russell, sorry, Member Russell. You're next. Go ahead.
Chairman, thank you. Minister, my question relates to... Yeah, my question relates to gender-based...
Member Russell, hold on. I think Minister didn't get the last question from Member Gordon as it relates to who really controls the franchise and boxes at Sabina Park. There is some altercation over who is really ultimately in control, and that Sabina Park would appear somewhat run down at this stage. What is the plan for future improvement and development? Member Russell, next.
Thank you, Chair. So my question is related to gender equity, so page 20, and specifically around gender-based violence. If you could just inform us as to what's entailed in what provisions are here in the budget to support access to shelter and safe accommodation for persons who are victims of gender-based violence, especially in rural settings where we do not have shelters of the traditional type.
Our only question, Member Russell. Thank you, Member Russell. Next is Member Buchanan.
Thank you, Chairman. Minister, page 46,006, which is 11,466. That's the activity, cultural and creative industries. The simple question if this is where the entertainment practitioners will be developed from. In relation to 46,017, that's the page. The activity is 10,005. The question is about an allocation of funds for intervention in that it facilitates giving direction to the parish council to halt the destruction of buildings that are potentially heritage assets. So this would be the two areas, and you can just attach activity 11608 as well about heritage sites. And so in Portland Eastern, you have the Folly Ruins, and you know, Minister, I see a state minister looking at me, so I'm going to look the other way. The Blue Lagoon, the Blue Lagoon situation, it's all attached to 11466, entertainment practitioners, as well as identifying the heritage sites and what will be done with that. Then at 46,000, page 15, I hope I'm not going too fast for you, but I'm mindful of the time. The question is about access to the activity 11605, knowledge and skills development for rural youth, and how is that accessed? How is it accessed? How you get access to that in light of budgetary constraints? So if I'm allowed to elaborate so you can answer, the knowledge and skills development aspect is a little bit more targeted in rural areas. So even though there's JC, DEC, and SDC and all these things, but how you get the access to the funding? The minister is looking, so I'm trying to ensure that I get an answer. And finally, in terms of sporting talent and cultivation, which is at 46,009, the same thing, access to funds to enhance talent. And that's in the context of young athletes who possibly study abroad. We've had that private conversation, so I won't get. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, member. Next should be Member Crawford.
Yeah, simply, Minister, in your presentation about Reggae Month, you indicated that constituents, if they had identified lands, could send in proposals for entertainment zones in their constituency. Is there funding in the budget that is applicable for this year, or that might be a future process or an activity?
Good question. Next. Next, Member Miller Bennett.
Minister, at page 122 of the Public Bodies book, under rehabilitation and funding of the 20 multipurpose courts, what is the system of deciding and selecting the courts, the 20 courts?
Could you repeat?
And
Could you
going to
repeat?
get 5. What's the process of deciding which courts you will rehabilitate?
Is that your only question, Miller Bennett? Last but not least is Member Jackson.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Minister, my question is very simple. Page 46,008, where you spoke about, it speaks about entertainment facility development. Last presentation here, you made some announcement about Jam World. And I remember the former member of parliament banged the desk and said it was transformational. All I see growing over by Jam World is taller grass than I've ever seen before. So I look in the book, I don't see a capital listing here. So maybe, Minister, you can assist me to tell us where the transformation mentioned then has reached.
Thanks, Member Jackson. Minister, you may proceed.
Madam Chair, do I respond
You may
now?
proceed, Minister. You may
All right.
go through and
First,
respond.
in relation to JAMWorld, it's rehabilitation, so it would not require a capital budget. And at this time, we have completed the fencing, we have done the topographical survey, and we are now into design. You won't see a capital budget for JAMWorld. It falls within the JNHT and entertainment budget. You would not see a line at Jamaica National Heritage Trust and the entertainment branch. It would fall under entertainment and JNHT. And you wouldn't see a line item for it. It's part of their all right, so you're satisfied, right? Look at 4617. Yes. And the expenditure would right? 46,008 and 46,017. Up. Look, object 25. Okay, we'll go to some of the other questions. The applications come in, it's sent to the SDF. This is in relation to us deciding what courts we would rehabilitate. The Sports Development Foundation will receive applications for sports development. And then the board would meet, there is an allocation committee, they would meet, and they would determine based on their cash flow for that period, what projects they will do. All right, let me respond to the question about Sabina Park. Sabina Park is a long-standing problem. And between the Kingston Cricket Club and Jamaica Cricket Association and Sabina Park Holdings, which I understand no longer exist, government has to have discussions with the Jamaica Cricket Association and the Kingston Cricket Club as to how we are going to resolve the ownership. That requires a discussion. And I have had a discussion with the Jamaica Cricket Association, and I intend to bring all parties together because Sabina Park is still indebted to government. Government could just go and take it over, but we don't want to do that. We're going to sit with all the stakeholders and parties and see how we can resolve the situation. If you notice, we have ensured that the rehabilitation of Sabina Park has started. New scoreboards, new lights, and we will continue to improve that facility. It's a heritage site, and we will continue to improve the facility. But as government invests in that facility, we will also have to regularize the ownership. The question of who controls the boxes at Sabina Park, that is, there are boxes there that government controls. There are boxes that the Jamaica Cricket Association controls. The whole situation at Sabina Parks needs to be regularized. I am aware of it, and I'm engaging in those discussions. Okay? Let's move to gender. The question was, what's in the budget to support access to shelters for victims of violence? Well, in relation to the shelters, we have we have 2 shelters in operation at this time. The 3rd shelter, there was a delay in putting it into operation because of Melissa. However, that shelter will be also a transition house where those who we protected, that we put in a safe space, once they're stabilized, we will move them into the transition facility until they are able to go back into a normal situation. So, for example, they may not be in a position to, they can't go back into the abusive situation, but they may not be in a position to go and rent a space. So we will provide them with that space for them to stabilize and then move into the normal, a normal environment. We have what is called a rural, we have what is called the rural network of rural women producers. And that network goes right across the island. And they assist in treating with matters in the rural areas that impact on our women. And there is a helpline that they can call. Now, if a woman finds herself in a situation that she needs help, the network is activated and we move her out of danger into a safe place. And during Melissa, after Melissa, the Bureau activated its network in Western Jamaica, where they assisted women who were affected by the hurricane. The budget that would support what we are saying is 4,621. 4,621.
Next, Miller Bennett question from public bodies, and Member Crawford's question the special zones for... Your question was answered. So
No.
does Member Crawford now, Minister, in respect of the special zones for entertainment zones?
Let me respond to the Blue Lagoon question. Now, there is a planned rehabilitation program in place for the Blue Lagoon. Scope of work has been done. We have lifeguards in place. The difficulty we have with the Blue Lagoon is that all the land around the Blue Lagoon is privately owned. And the situation that existed was one of disorder. So we had to put a halt to all of that. The Blue Lagoon has reopened under the supervision of the Jamaica National Heritage Trust. I know the issue that has caused some sensitivity is the fact that people cannot just drive down in that little parochial road and create confusion. So the quote-unquote barrier that's there still provide access to the Blue Lagoon. What we have to do, and we are planning, is an overall development where there can be a space where people can be shuttled from that space to the Blue Lagoon to use the facility, rather than having people drive into the area where there's no proper parking. We will be rehabilitating the facilities there. We propose to spend approximately $20 million to repair the dock. We have the proposal, we have the design, and we will, as soon as the funds are identified, do the repairs. We cannot encourage motorized sports in the Blue Lagoon. We can't. And we also have to recognize the sensitivity that exists between the fact that all the land surrounding the Blue Lagoon is privately owned. It's a very sensitive situation, but there is a way that we will have to find a balance between the people having access and the people enjoying and earning from the Blue Lagoon.
Thank you, Minister. Last now is Member Crawford in respect of the entertainment zones.
Okay, now regarding entertainment zones, it is not something that just the ministry can do. It has to be a partnership between the municipalities because it involves planning and it involves approvals. So it is a slow process because of that. We have identified, we have audited venues across the island. We have identified spaces for entertainment zones. And we are in discussion with the municipalities to roll them out, to build them out. But it's not just putting walls around a space. It's about designing and providing a facility that takes into consideration even sound regulation. And that is why the process has been a little slow. But what I can say is that Jamworld, for example, will be a great facility once we have completed the work that is being done there.
Thank you so much, Minister. Minister, let me say thank you to yourself and your entire team from the Ministry of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sports. And we would now like to put head 46,000, pages 1 through 21. Those in favor?
Aye.
Those against? The ayes have it. Thank you. Have
Thank
a
you,
wonderful
Madam
rest
Chair.
of the
For those
evening.
who didn't get answers to their questions, I'll provide them with those answers. Right.
Thank you, Minister. House Leader.
Madam Chair, we will now take the final ministry for Standing Finance Committee. That's the Ministry of Tourism. um, yes, we voted. We're coming to it. The Ministry of Tourism, thank you to the Ministry of Gender, Entertainment, Sports, Culture. I think if we work efficiently, we can be out of here before 11 o'clock. Our future is in our own hands. We suggest to the Minister to be brief in his opening, and again remind the questioners to stick to the heads of the questions. The Ministry of Tourism team, led by Minister Edmund Bartlett and State Minister Tova Hamilton.
No man, many years we're doing this 22. I'm tired tonight. You know where about it. Yeah, I just gonna do that quick and done. I striking out this because I don't see why you're going back to 24, 25. That is irrelevant and it only make it look bad. If you do that. So it's alright. No man, this is the amendment. Okay.
Please, let's make welcome.
It don't sound like they want to go home. It don't sound like you guys want to go home. Exactly. Chairman, bring the meeting to order now, man.
Members, please make welcome the team from the Ministry of Tourism.
Thank you.
Please turn to head 17,000 in preparation for questions. Minister Bartlett.
Thank you very much.
Team.
Madam Chair, if I'm allowed. Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, the opening remarks will be very brief. Indeed, I'd just like to welcome and introduce my new Minister of State, the Honorable Tova Hamilton. And of course, to indicate that her specific responsibility will be for cruise tourism, and she will be also helping me generally, which is the training development strategy in my ministry. And she also will be chairing, she'll also be chairing the new strategy committee on local first. Madam Chair, the permanent secretary, Jennifer Griffiths, who has been with me for the better part of 18 years, 2014 as minister, and even when I was opposition spokesman, we had the benefit of her wonderful counsel as I moved all over the world to drive tourism, even in opposition. The team is concluded with the Director of Tourism, Donovan White, the Executive Director of TPDCO, and the Executive Director of the Tourism Enhancement Fund. I see also the Executive Director of JAMVAC, who has responsibility also for cruise and airlift. And Devon House is well represented, and Bath is represented, and that's it. So the ministry, in guiding the Ministry of Finance in the initial discussions on the outturn for the fiscal 26-27, took into account the guidance we got from our partners subsequent to the passage of Hurricane Melissa, and that indication suggested that there would be somewhere of a 75 to 80% recovery in this fiscal. Well, the energy and the ambitions have grown, and the reality now is that we will have all our 33,000 rooms available and active by December of 2026, so that fiscal 26-27 will recover the process. The result of that is a review also of the outturn in terms of visitor arrivals. And we now would like to move for an amendment which the minister will formally put at a later point this evening, so that the narrative on the description of program at head 1700 will now read, 17,000 will now read, the Jamaica Tourist Program aims to position brand Jamaica as a premier destination for both emerging and established markets. In fiscal year 26-27, the gross tourism earnings is projected now at $3.228 billion US, and would reflect now only a 3% decline from the year 25-26, which was 3.327 billion. This is the amendment that we're reading. This is the amendment to the narrative for 17,000 under the outturns from the tourist board. And so if you look at 17,000-7, yes, -7. For fiscal 26-27, then the total visitor arrival.
The amendments were already circulated to the House, what page 17,001.
Yes,
so
the amendment
everyone should have the sheet.
Is expected to fall to 1%. I'm going to say that again for good measure, that the expected arrivals will decline in 26-27 by 1%. Just 1%. And so that figure now will be 3.741 million, and that will be composed of 2.278 stopover arrivals and 1.463 cruise. And that cruise would represent a 14.8% increase over last year. So, the overall position, therefore, Madam Chair, is that we would see what was initially anticipated to have been a fallout of some 6% overall in earnings to now be a fallout of only 3%, and an overall decline in arrivals of only 1%. Thank you. Also, I'd like to indicate by way of outturn that the world-class, world-standard, historic tourism workers' pension scheme in its first 2 years, notwithstanding Melissa and Beryl, stands now at 5.1 billion Jamaican dollars. B with a B. And to indicate that members who have been dislocated in one form or another as a result of Melissa will not be affected at all. And indeed, if it is that members are now forlorn on having to go to other occupations, they can then take that pension arrangement with them wherever they go. So that this is one of the few pension schemes in the entire world where this transferability is allowed. So that the member, notwithstanding changing his occupation within the industry, can take the pension arrangement with him wherever he goes. And that one, I think, stands out. Madam Speaker, the portability of the pension arrangement is unique to Jamaica, as we are the only country in the world that has a comprehensive pension plan for every category of worker within the tourism industry. That being said, I now present the budget for the tourism.
Thank you so much, Minister. Minister will now take questions. First will be Member Perkins.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Outside of Member Perkins. Any other
Minister
questions?
and the team, good night. I am just as happy as the Minister that revenue will increase for 2026, 2027. I'm happy that your projection has increased. I want you to pay attention, Minister, to page 17,001, Vision and Mission Statement. One of the stated objectives of the Ministry of Tourism is the promotion of local culture. That commitment is enshrined in your policy framework. It is marketed to the world. It is the very soul of Jamaica's brand. Yet on the ground, in the very hotels that this government supports, promotes, and derives revenue from, Jamaican entertainers are being shut out. And I move into my questions, but just a bit of context. Tourists who travel thousands of miles to experience Jamaica's rhythms, its energy, its people, are instead being offered a generic entertainment product they could have found anywhere else in the world. The very Jamaican experience they paid to have is being denied to them. So I put this to you plainly, Minister. Is the ministry aware of the extent to which local entertainers are being systematically excluded from cultural performance opportunities in our major hotel properties? 2, what specific provisions, if any, exist within the licensing, partnership, or operational agreements between Ministry of Tourism Enhancement Fund and hotel operators to prioritize Jamaican talent on Jamaican soil? And 3, if no such provisions exist, will the minister commit here and now to introducing enforceable cultural content requirements as a condition of doing business in Jamaica's tourism sector so that we stop exporting our tourism dollars while simultaneously erasing the very culture that makes this destination worth visiting? Those are questions.
Really?
All right. So,
Member Perkins?
They're questions
You
from...
get a lot of latitude. That's not quite question.
I thank you
That's
for
a
the
long
latitude.
preamble.
Thank you.
No, not at all, but giving our space.
So, member...
So you're finished, Member Perkins?
No, I have a number. I have a number of questions on behalf of the hospitality workers and myself. So I have a number of questions.
So hold on, Minister.
Yes, tonight. I'm going to Hanover after.
All right, so member,
you finish. So I too want to go home.
So member, you've developed a nice prose around a concept which has elements of truth and large tissues of misrepresentation. For example, that the absence of Jamaican culture in the hotels is a fallacy. I happen to go and I enjoy powerful Jamaican presentations utilizing all the idiom that we have. Absolutely. Now, if you wanted 7 nights a week of only Jamaican offering, that is unheard of anywhere in tourism because of the nature of the what we call the psychographic profile of the market. We market to people's tastes and their desires, and what we do is to create fusion from time to time so that there's a good mix of local and international offerings, and that is what is present there. In terms of our own responses, to ensure that there's a greater percentage of local arrangements at the highest possible quality, we have established an academy, an entertainment academy, where we train DJs. We just graduated some last Sunday at Montego Bay, at the Harmony Beach Park, and DJ Delano and other local DJs are part of the faculty that help to train these. So we are excited about the prospects of continuing that process through the entertainment academy.
Thank you, Minister.
So in time we hope that when next you ask the question, you would be able to say that you were part of that process of
thank you,
seeing to the
Minister.
graduate of more
But
students.
when you're in Jamaica, and in most hotels you have a Jamaica night, you know, it speaks to how much more we need our culture in the hotels. But I'll move on. Pay attention to page 1700 to 9, activity 10159, rehabilitation, maintenance, and report. The description under this program is to develop Jamaica's unique cultural and natural assets. There is a 15.83 increase in the budget. Which roadways earmarked for enhancement? Which attractions have been identified for road rehabilitation? Are the roads to Mayfield Falls, Milk River Spa and Bath Hotel being considered under this program?
Answer yes, absolutely. And Milk River, in fact, we've done several times, and we have to do again because it is subject to the vagaries of the weather. And so we continue to do that. And that's the purpose of that particular allocation in the TEF.
Yes. Thank you, Minister. What about Mayfield Falls? I know Mayfield Falls, it's partially closed down because the bridge collapsed in 2022, and they have not received. I'm hoping that we can get some help from TEF.
We'll look at Mayfield Falls because Roaring River is the one that is earmarked for this year. But we will look at
and Minister, I have a concern with that, as Mayfield Falls was a popular destination, attraction rather.
I know it quite well.
But has gone to sleep because the bridge collapsed in 2022. So I'm going to use this opportunity to ask you to pay attention to Mayfield Falls. It is a natural mineral falls. Right? Thank you.
We've gotten a lot of latitude. We're going to try not to repeat and try to keep the questions tight. Minister, equally, please try to keep the responses tight.
Yeah,
Okay, let me continue to keep it tight. Page 17,000-10, activity 10159 refers to the development of public beaches. Which beaches are slated for development? Can you also inform us of the emerging resort areas of which you speak of?
Okay, so Prairie Beach in St. Anne, Paget in St. Mary, Success Beach in St. James, and these, right. And member, I'm not disputing what you just said, because a lot of time has been spent on the design and the development of this. And now we could say for certainty that these three beaches have completed all that process and will in fact commence construction in this section.
Any development around the corner for Old Steamer Beach, which is on the Elegant Corridor between Montego Bay and Negril? It's in Hopewell.
Old Steamer?
Yes. That's between Montego Bay and Negril.
You sure?
Is that the Orchard I'm asking about the development.
Is that the Orchard Beach?
Orchard Beach.
Absolutely,
that's the name.
The
we
name
don't
of
know
Old Steamer, we know Orchard.
Okay. You see, we're keeping the product local, Minister.
Orchard is on the list.
We're keeping the product local.
Yes. In fact, there are 12 beaches overall on the list, and Orchard is one.
Any plans?
You have any more beach questions? Any more
no,
beach
Madam
questions?
Chair.
Okay. If anyone has any more questions, re beaches?
I have more questions, but
no,
not
because I'd
related
asked
to
Minister
beach.
to read the list of beaches since he has 12, so we can close any questions.
We don't.
Okay, all right. So, so since the party leader has spoken.
Thank you, thank you, Juliet. Pay attention to page 17,010. Activity 117. Capacity development, which includes strengthening the craft sector through the Craft Development Institute, which trains persons. However, is there anything in the budget to assist with revitalizing our craft markets?
Right. So that wouldn't be in this budget because that's not the remit of tourism. I think that the Ministry of Industry and Commerce under the
local government.
No, the Ministry of Industry and Commerce, yes. And the new Minister of State, I noticed, have had quite a bit of activation.
Minister, next question.
Thank you, Minister.
So we work together on that.
The Minister is still talking.
Next question, member. So it's not his portfolio ministry, so next question.
Tourism contributes approximately 18.6 to 30% of Jamaica's GDP when including direct and indirect impact. Minister, in reference to page 17,000-8, destination marketing and overseas marketing, the current estimate for 2026-2027 remains the same as 2025-2026. In the gross earnings projected for 2026, it has decreased from 2025-2026, as per page 17,000-7, which is reasonable in light of damages caused by Hurricane Melissa. Considering tourism's significant contribution to GDP, do you believe that this is a realistic estimate to market brand Jamaica and help the sector, and in extension, the economy rebound over the medium term, as suggested on page 17,013?
Are you making a point about the size of the budget?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, and the fact is that in no year is the budget ever enough. But because of how that budget is managed and the efficiencies of our management team, and also the way in which we utilize the various avenues to promote and position Brand Jamaica, we have in every instance seen increases in our earnings as well as arrival, except of course for the problem year like last year. So we anticipate that this budget, which is the same as last year, and in fact, we added $1 billion to it last year when we had to deal with Beryl and then Melissa. So that should be adequate to deal with the programs that we have.
Thank you, Minister. I thought with, what is happening in other places in the world that we might, need to focus a little more or look at different areas, different niche markets.
Right. So let me tell you what has happened is that we've done quite a bit of market diversification within the budgetary allocations for last year. We're now working hard with South America. And South America is showing great energy. We just came out of Colombia and Panama a couple of days ago, Director and myself. And we have 6 new flights that are coming.
Thank you, Minister.
So,
thank you.
So
I'm not speaking about South America because that's an area that we focus on. Things are happening in other areas in the world, and we ought to look at different areas. But I'll continue in lieu of time. Has this budget for Brand Jamaica, and I'm still on the 17,000 to 13, has this budget for Brand Jamaica marketing strategy been formulated to effectively tap into unconventional markets, considering the current geopolitical climate and emerging global conflicts? And what specific initiatives of partnerships are being implemented to increase Jamaica's visibility and appeal in these new markets?
Right. So I just came out of Berlin last night, which is the largest trade market show in Central and Southern Europe.
Thank you, Minister. You need to invite me
you're leaving out
on
that
some
you're
of
tourism
these trips.
minister of the world. You're not helping tourism minister of the world. And Jamaica is the best destination in the world.
Madam Chair, thank you for assisting the Minister of Tourism. But I would want to agree with you that destination Jamaica is indeed the best in the world. I would want to agree with that.
No, well, just to guide the member, because she's new to the portfolio, and I quite appreciate that she needs to be guided as best as possible. So member, I'm allowed to say so because of my vintage, if nothing else. So just please, because you remember how helpful I was to you exactly. So just to let you know that we have India that is immediately on the horizon. We have an agent in India we're working through to tap the Indian market. We have Eastern Europe. We're working with TUI in a very strong partnership to drive Eastern Europe as well as South America.
Thank you.
So
thank you, Minister.
Just to let you know that the new and emerging markets are very much in our horizon.
Thank you very much. I'm happy to know that TUI will not only be taking us to Jamaica, travelers from England, but they're now moving into India. So I'm excited about that.
Good.
Minister, behind every 5-star rating, every glowing review, and every record-breaking tourism arrival number, there is a Jamaican worker, a housekeeper, a bartender, a groundskeeper, a front desk attendant. These are the men and women whose labor sustains this industry, as mine did, whose hospitality defines our brands, and whose, just a little context, please, I'm asking.
You're having too much content with too many questions.
It's not too much.
This
and
is
those
like a
who
sectoral
sacrifice, underwrite, the billions, I'll wait until you're finished. No, I'll wait.
Giving our latitude.
I'll wait. I'm getting to the question.
Member Perkins. No, Member Perkins, look here. Member Perkins, look this way.
All right.
Member Perkins. Member
Madam
Perkins,
Chair, I'm
look
waiting
this
on
way.
the
No, look
member.
this way.
I can't speak when
No.
other people are talking.
Member Perkins.
Member Terrelong? Madam Chair, I have just a few more questions. I'm going to wrap up soon. Just a few more questions, Madam Chair.
You want an advertisement for that?
Madam Chair, I cannot speak in the noise, so I will wait. I am not going to talk when everybody else is talking, so I will wait.
Okay.
As I was saying,
Yeah.
a housekeeper, a bartender,
No, Miss
a
Member
groundskeeper, a
Perkins.
front desk
Member
attendant.
Perkins. Member
These are the
Perkins.
men and women whose labor sustain this
Member
industry.
Perkins. No,
Madam
seriously.
Chair, let me
we're
move to the
listening, we're
question.
listening.
Seriously.
Go ahead.
Let me move to the question.
Yes.
I have some more questions.
No, ask the question
I
about
have
the
been
workers.
here since 11:30 this morning. I live in Hanover. I too want to go home. But I have a responsibility to represent the people
Member
that work in
Perkins,
the
just get to
industry
your
that
question
I
now, dear.
represent.
Get to your
So
question.
please, I don't do grandstanding.
No, so
Just allow me.
Member Perkins, we're giving you quite a
Questions.
bit of latitude, and Perkins, I'm giving you the latitude. But
Let
I'm
me tell
asking
you.
All right, team, alone.
Dash 13.
So Member Perkins.
13. Are
Member
there
Perkins.
currently, Minister,
Please ask the question.
where
member.
I was going,
Can we get some protection, Chair?
I'm not even going to ask for protection. I'm going to
allowing me
wait.
to protect her. So Member
Thank
Perkins,
you.
I'm trying to give you some latitude, Member Perkins, but I have no idea how
Minister
many
of
more
Water, why don't
questions
you come down
have.
to Hanover and leave me alone now?
Member
Come down to Hanover and
Perkins.
help us with the water. Are there currently, Minister, I am going to speak now in that lieu of the contract workers and all of that. Are there currently any joint policy? Are there any joint policy, Minister, policy initiatives between your ministry and the Ministry of Labor designed to introduce enforceable protections for workers in the tourism sector? And if not, why not? Next question. Will you commit to working towards mandatory employment standards within tourism?
She said it at the beginning. You're not listening.
If you pay attention when I am listing the page, then you will know exactly where I am. Will the minister commit to working towards mandatory employment standards within tourism?
You haven't even read the book. You haven't even.
I'm not gonna. No, I'm gonna wait. This is a very important question.
Member Perkins, you finish that question? See me end up switch off your mic.
Members.
You're not finished the question?
Members, please. Please, members. Please, members, I'd love to answer.
Can you all turn your mics off, please? Can you all turn your mics off, please? Members, can you all turn your mics off, please?
I have a question. Can I?
I'm going back to Member Perkins.
Minister, will you commit to working towards mandatory employment standards within tourism sector licensing agreements so that hotels seeking to operate and profit in this country, our country, are required as a condition of that privilege to provide fair contracts, job security, and decent working conditions to the Jamaican people they employ? I'm not done yet.
So member,
Don't respond.
member, this is not an emotional exercise. This is business.
I agree.
And there's something called a labor market arrangement. which responds to two things in my mind: merit and equity. And merit is defined by competence, qualifications, certification, and on the basis of which classification can be had, and then remuneration against classification.
Thank you, Minister.
No. I need to make that a little clearer for you, because what we need to do is to professionalize the tourism industry.
Minister, I understand
because
you.
the industry has been built. No, the industry has been built on
It's not
casual
informal.
labor over the years, and consequently, the difficulty to remunerate has been there. The issue of productivity, and I heard the member from North, yes, mentioning, and correctly so, the difficulty of measuring productivity in our industry as a basis for remuneration. I think we have to get to the point where we understand what this JLP government has been doing in the last 10 years in terms of bringing that level of professionalization to the industry. Madam Chair, it is important because it speaks to the heart of the most important element in the tourism industry, the workers, the people of the industry. And I've been committed to that. And this is why we established the Jamaica Center for Tourism Innovation, which is the only of its kind in the region that goes not only to train, but just listen, but to go into the industry, seek competent workers, and to certify competence so that there can be mobility and portability.
Thank you, Minister. You have said a lot.
Right. Members, let me explain something to you. Member Perkins, let me help you. You cannot shut up the minister when he's speaking, because you ask your questions in a particular way that is allowed. And what is going to happen to you is anybody who goes off doing their own sectoral debate will get a sectoral response.
Exactly.
And therefore, and therefore, I have been giving a lot of latitude, and I was trying to get your attention. Allow the member now. I was trying to get your attention to gauge how many more questions do you have. No, give me the exact amount. And do they have subparts?
Okay.
And I'm going to ask you for those last three questions to be a lot more succinct. Instead of the flurry, just get to the question. And then, Minister, in return, I'm going to ask you to succinctly respond. And again, I'm reminding you, Member Perkins, as you ask, so you shall get.
Madam Chair.
Right.
Madam Chair.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Let us pay attention to page 17,000. Is the Water Minister the Minister of Tourism now? Let's pay attention to 17,000 to 12, activity 12502. When examining the budget for the last year, we observed a total of $1,723,109,000 allocated towards several projects under product development. This year, we have seen this figure increase by almost 20%, for a total of $2,061,833,000. What is concerning is that a number of the projects listed on the last fiscal year budget are either incomplete or is yet to begin. How do you justify this increase with a carryover of certain incomplete projects? Point of note.
The chairman.
You know, I didn't drive from this far and cross so many bridges to come for this. Minister, allow me. Point of note, Port Charlotte, redevelopment phase 2, and the Milk River Spa and Bath. Fort Charlotte redevelopment phase 2, for which $5 million was allocated, and Milk River Spa and Bath Hotel, with an allocation of $50 million, shows no significant signs of development. Can you comment on the status of any of the listed projects with focus on the two aforementioned? If your investigation have led you to discover the incompletion of the majority of these projects, what steps will be taken to address this and also ensure this does not repeat itself this year with the increase in budget?
Well, firstly, you would recognize that the budget cycle
She can't read it though.
is represented by members, please. This is a very important question because
Focus on St. Mary.
thank you, members, thank you. The budget cycle is predicated on a cash budget and not an accrual budget. And consequently, you would see that a number of projects that have been started would be repeated in the allocations here for completion. And they are there. Now, the big increase in this is really in relation to the resort maintenance program to ensure that there is a cut in every resort, meaning what shall we call a maintenance program for the verges and general, debushing in the areas that are critical. So that the increase there is to allow for a cut every month. At the moment, we're cutting like once every 2 months or 3 months. So the overgrowth is horrendous and it's terrible for locals and visitors alike. So this will allow us now to have a regular monthly resort maintenance program.
Thank you, Minister. We welcome that. We really want the elegant corridor between Montego Bay and Negril to look like other places in the Caribbean.
And that's what this increase is about. Yes.
My final question, page 17,000-11. Why is it that you are reducing the expenditure on local supply chain while seeking to market an authentic Jamaican experience?
No, actually, I think what you're seeing there, remember now, this is about increasing the programs around building capacity for locals to be inserted in the value chain of tourism. But that particular line item is one of the items related to this. The other one is a bigger arrangement where the Exim Bank has over $1 billion Jamaican dollars for that purpose to be on lent to small stakeholders to increase their own capacity to produce more and to scale up. Then there's also a provision at the commercial bank, Jamaica National, for on lending again. And it's over $200 million that's there for on lending to transport operators, small transport operators. So that particular line may be reduced because of what is entailed in it. It's more training and development. But the lines that you to look at essentially are the ones that drive the actual on lending process to enable the small players to have capacity to expand their operation and to do more. Yes, that's why I see the phase 2, phase 1. That's what I mentioned.
Who is it? Is it Rose or is it me?
Thank you. Oh. I'm recognized, Chair.
Minister.
Who do you recognize, Madam Chair?
Minister's mic is not on.
Ministers can't ask other ministers.
collective responsibility in cabinet.
Member Noel, two reds can work.
Madam Chair, who do you recognize?
One of the red has to be green.
Members?
Chair, am I? What activity is that, Chair?
Watch it tomorrow morning.
Chair, am I recognized?
Man, I watch it recorded.
Right.
No, I'm waiting on the chair.
Members,
Chair.
Minister,
members, I think two members.
more than two. Minister, so you have more than two. So this segment, we'll take all the questions and your team will document the questions asked. If there are questions that require any element of research, they will do their research quietly and they will provide the information for you so that you're able to respond very quickly to all the questions. And you can take any question from the batch of questions in responding while efficiently the research is done for those that may need additional information. So first up is Member Shaw from
Thank you very much.
St. Thomas, and then Member Wilson.
Members.
Member Newell.
Allow us to finish. So we
Member
can.
Newell is second, and then Member Cousins, third, and then Member Cousins. Member Cousins, didn't you? He's not the spokesperson. And then Member, and then no, not Member Perkins, and then Member Miller Bennett.
Chairman, can I go ahead?
Yes, you may go ahead. The mic don't recognize. You will be last.
Minister, I pay homage to experience. And I know that you're experienced in the job. I was sent here by the people of Eastern St. Thomas. Minister, the Morant Bay Heritage District. Will this be on a phase basis? I see an allocation here for $20 million.
The $20 million is really for
Minister,
the bath.
No, Minister. So is that your only question, Member Shaw? I'm sorry. Is that your only question?
No, I have another question. As it relates to the Bath Fountain Road, Minister, I heard you mention, no, it's not. It's National Works Agency. No. You're talking, Minister, the Parish Council Road was renovated. For your information, Minister.
Member Montague.
Chair.
Member Montague. Allow Member Shaw to complete.
It is the road that leads to Bath, the main road.
The main road to Bath?
Yes.
So those are your two questions, Member Shaw.
Another question, there's another question I have here.
It's a road to attraction.
The Minister will respond to say whether it's a parochial road or not.
Minister, I am aware that don't remind me of the dark
Member
ages.
Shaw, please, just get to the question.
Minister, the licensed beach, I know that a considerable amount of funding was spent on licensed beach, and I just need to find out what is the problem with licensed beach as it stands now.
Turn off. Yours now. No, hold on. Go on, yes. You're on now?
Thank you.
No, hold on. Turn on again, please. Good. No, don't turn on any banks, Member Buchanan. You had questions separate from Member Shaw? I thought it was one mic on, sorry about that. Hold on, I'll acknowledge you and then you turn on.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Chair. Minister, I'm very heartened by your announcement that the Paji Beach development will go through this year. And I think on behalf of every resident there, we're excited about the potential that will bring. The last, activity 10159 speaks to emerging resort area support and development. I know the last time you were in Robbins Bay, I saw an article where you spoke about how beautiful the place was naturally. And I want to know whether you have plans for not just Paji, but a place where Bobby has not been to in a long time. Islington, which has tremendous cultural tourism potential, and Robbins Bay in terms of your development of emerging resort area support. Just to, because spending $400 million or thereabouts in Paji will create just a whole heap of opportunities in the community. So how do we ensure we capitalize on that?
Any other question, Member Newell?
No, that's it.
Thank you, Member Newell. Next is Member Cousins.
Thank you, Chairman. And I want to listen keenly.
Member Miller Bennett,
I want to direct the
turn your
attention
mic
to
off, please.
page 17,001, 10, sorry.
Turn off the mic.
Activity 10159, Resort Town Squatter Settlement. And there's an allocation there for $120 million. As it relates to that particular activity, what is being proposed in terms of your approach to this resort town squatter settlement? Is it that you're going to acquire property, or is it that you're going to improve infrastructure within those squatter settlements? That's it. One question.
Next, Member Buchanan, turn your mic on, please.
Thank you, Chairman. Minister, pointing you to page 1712, it's in relation to activity 12502, which mentions the Rio Grande Rafters Rest and Berrydale Redevelopment Phase 2. It is attached to activity 10159, and it speaks to road to attractions. The question I'm asking, if there is considerations to improving the road network in conjunction with improving the Rio Grande Rafters Rest. The next question I'm asking is about the 1708, which speaks about the marketing, destination and marketing, the tourism product of Portland Eastern, whether or not it will be included this time, and whether the relaxing of the licensing rules for the hoteliers and the other Airbnbs, if there will be a relaxing of the licensing mechanisms, the rules, to include it with the advertising of the attraction. And lastly, the Blue Lagoon as a product. How are you treating with that, Minister? Thank you.
Sorry, Member. Could you...
No, Minister, hold on.
No, just I want him to repeat and perhaps rephrase.
Turn your mic back on. Member Buchanan, turn your mic
members,
back on.
just members,
Minister,
just allow us to be fair to each other. The member from Portland East has phrased the question a particular way, and it probably will give me a little challenge to respond to it. So I want it to be clear as to what he's talking about in terms of the license and
the ability to advertise. So there are destinations.
You mean unlicensed?
Unlicensed, but they are relaxing the rules to allow the unlicensed persons to participate. to be licensed, but
No,
also
I
to
hear
participate.
you, I hear you.
Thank you.
Which is an unfortunate question, I must say. Because, because...
Minister, don't answer yet.
Anyway.
Don't answer yet, Minister. Next is Member Miller Bennett.
Minister, my question is about the Jamaica Center of Tourism Innovation. I'm curious to find out why wouldn't you utilize HEART, given HEART and has such a wide network. Why wouldn't you use HEART? Or rather, why don't you leverage that existing reach, the reach that HEART has? Just to avoid, whether or not there's coordination or how would this center complement HEART? So that's one of my questions. The next one is, I'm going to pick up on Cousin's squatter settlement reference, and I'm going to be direct. This program, does it intend to regularize or relocate the squatters, or eventual ownership arrangements, going to eventual ownership arrangement with these residents in these settlements? And which agency, if that's, whichever you decide, which agency of government you think would be responsible for that? Then my next question for you is the convention center. That's under activity 17,008. This, Minister, indicate the current annual utilization rate of the Montego Bay Convention Center, particularly with respect to overseas conferences, meetings, and incentive travel events, and whether or not the ministry is subsidizing the operations of the convention center, or whether or not you have plans to improve international bookings and improve the center's financial sustainability. And my final question, this one is dear to my heart. In Western Hanover, and Hanover in particular, there's an expansion in hotels and rooms, and what we're seeing is persons needing accommodation, places to live. I think Princess has set a trend to provide accommodation for its workers. But my question is whether or not there's a policy to ensure that workers have place to live. And could you also indicate what coordination exists between the Ministry of Tourism, housing agencies, to ensure tourism growth does not lead to increase in informal settlements or squatter communities due to lack of affordable housing, and whether the government's policy regarding the housing, whether or not there's a policy or you plan to have a policy with respect to this. No, we talked about that already. We talked about
at the bottom.
Minister,
So,
Minister,
thank you,
hold your horses,
Chair,
Minister.
Chair.
You have one more before you, last member, Member Crawford.
Linstead Market is an attraction, and we want our road. Minister, you made some recent changes, so I just need to confirm that the most recent normal year would have been 2024, 2025, for which there was a earning of $4.3 billion US. I think you indicated that 2025, 2026, there would have been an earning of $3.3 billion US, which would indicate a loss of $1 billion US. And you further sought to educate us that for 2026, 2027, you expect a loss on the previous year, and by extension, compared to normal times, an additional $1 billion US dollars, meaning compared to 2024, 2025. If you could therefore confirm those numbers, Minister, would you agree that we would have, the practitioners of tourism would have lost over $2 billion over that 2-year period, the Beryl year and the Melissa year? And having indicated that, I wondered why it was that marketing was still the same as it was last year, instead of an increase or an improvement in the marketing investment. Additionally, Minister, the practitioners in the industry would have suffered from a almost $300 billion loss over the Beryl year and the Melissa year. And to that extent, has the ministry also considered the possible impact on the cost of travel to increases in oil prices based on the uncertainty that is happening? And how would that affect the properties, even with the probability of absorbing a tax at this particular point in time? The other thing I want to ask is around seat support, otherwise called seat risk. I'd like you to indicate to us which gateways are you eyeing for this particular year as it relates to seat risk. I heard you speak about 6 coming from Panama and 20 coming from India and 19 coming from Iran. Which of these seats are you eyeing for seat support, and what is the expected time period to shift into market viability as versus ministry subsidy through seat support to re-establish those gateways? I also wanted to understand if it would not have been a good idea to re-engage some of our original gateways, having lost some arrivals since 2024, 2025, due to the risk perceived from the hurricanes and the shutdown from the hurricanes, if some seat support wouldn't have been appropriate into some of those established destinations. Finally, Minister, I wanted to speak on the item that was titled Hurricane Recovery. You had $3.9 billion in 25-26. However, you had 0 in 2026-2027. Is that an indicator that you perceive that the recovery has ended? And additionally, is that also an indicator that those workers that are still displaced would have no further assistance coming from the ministry since there's no budget for this particular period? So those are my questions.
For the new year. All right.
100%.
Thank you, Member. You may now proceed in responding, after which we will take the head.
With the back end. Right. So thank you.
We have the numbers.
Thank
we are
you,
smart
Chair.
to it.
Thank
we have
you,
the
Chair.
numbers. We have the numbers as well. We have the numbers.
We start.
Yeah?
Okay, Chairman, it's a lot of questions, and I urge members to allow minimum of interruption so we could finish these 16 questions, please. Thank you, because they are very important questions. Starting with the last one first, in good accounting term, the LIFO. So the disposal of workers and what provision there is in terms of the Melissa support initiative that we have. The initiatives are in relation to recovery, and it is intended to enable recovery through housing support and also some level of care packages. The discussions that we're having with the hotel owners and the attractions is that the rate of recovery now has been accelerated. And whilst we were expecting that we would be going into next year, all the hotels essentially will be ready and operating by December of this year. All the hotels have indicated a level of support for the workers while they are either on furlough or otherwise disengaged. And it ranges from 50% salary to 70% salary, working 3 days a week in some instances, and that the work would cover primarily training, and some of the training would be in-house, as well as the Jamaica Center for Tourism Innovation assisting with virtual training. The arrangements also indicate in some instances where care packages will continue by some of the hotels. So the government is working along with the private sector in this regard, as all of the arrangements since Melissa has been around public-private engagement, government and the private sector. So this is not to say every single worker would be covered in the process. I wish it were so, but substantially the workers are being taken care of. There are some who have been absorbed in the construction and repair work that is currently going on as well. So in the main, the recovery has not left the workers behind. The budget for this fiscal, which starts now, is zero because what we are doing is working on what was provided from the Melissa grant, okay? Which, if you notice, was $3.3 billion overall. So funds would be made, okay? Seed support. Now, firstly, I know you are aware that seed support is essentially to enable the opening of new markets and also to provide for gateways that are not properly served by legacy carriers. So there are a number of such gateways that we have been working with out of the UK, the Latin American area, in Canada, new gateways from Canada, Germany, Italy, Portugal, and Spain. Now, these arrangements are related to a time period. The seed support is usually for a number of what we call rotations. And these rotations may last perhaps for 1 season, maybe 3 months, maybe 6 months, and then they may be repeated. But there is not an unlimited repeat period, because what you have is what you call scheduled charters. And then the scheduled charters in time become legacy. So that's how the system works. And so it varies, because, for example, in the case of COPA, when we started COPA, doing resort to Montego Bay, within 6 months, we were out of the woods with them because the response was so strong. When I started JetBlue, similarly, and JetBlue then announced that we were the first destination that within 6 months, they were increasing their rotations from 3 to 5 flights for the week. So it all depends on how quickly you move. But in the main, I think a year cycle is about what we regard as reasonable. Now, the oil prices, yes. That's a concern. That's a concern. The big advantage for us is that our legacy markets are within an hour and a half, 3 hours, and so the pain of that experience might be reduced simply because of the distance between us in terms of the strong market. The US, for example, has 70% of your market. Canada, these are close by. Now, if we were drawing heavily from Europe and other distance areas, the concern would be greater. But I just want you to appreciate that anything that means increased price of fuel impacts travel. And so we have to be mindful of that, and we'll be working on it. Okay, now in terms of the losses that you indicated based on the revenue projections. Firstly, I know you understand numbers very well, but base numbers, base years are important to consider. So we measure year over year, not 2 years. So the first year of 24-26, which was a strong year for us, $4.3 billion overall, and then 25-26 got impacted by Beryl and Melissa, and you're down to 1 billion, as you say. Now, what has happened now is that over next year, you are only down by $100,000 from Beryl's year, right? So that's fine because you're measuring on a year over year. Now, no, but norm year wasn't 23. 23-24 was mega year because that was the highest point of the recovery since COVID. So yes, and then you projected that you would grow beyond that. But growth cannot be measured in this way. Growth has to be measured against a period. So and in our sense, it's a year over year. It's not 2 years or 3 years. It's a year over year. And so the growth here is 25 over 26 and 26 over 25, as the case might be. So this does not then represent a decline. What this represents is recovery, as you can see here, because of what happened with the hurricane. When the hurricane hit, we were at 0. So you really started from 0, moving up, and you saw the V-shaped recovery. And yes, 0 arrivals. In other words, we woke up one morning and there was no tourists at any of the airports. But years are not measured by years, they start with months. So you have to work month by month to get to your year. All right. So you could do day by day, you could go minute by minute. Okay, fine. But just to make you understand and appreciate that when you go to the highest you have ever been and disruption comes, that's how our industry operates. You then have to pick up from that point and to grow further up. So we consider this as growth, recovery. And you bear in mind this one. 25, 26 over 24, 25, the reduction was 23.4%. You were down. This projection now is you're down 3%. That's growth. That's growth. No, but you look. No, but the point I'm making is that you're showing recovery, and that's how we're measuring. We should. And then you would appreciate the difference between growth, reduction, and recovery. Yeah. Now, as for the housing policy, I think that the squat upgrading, that 120 million is to complete a particular scheme that we started a few years ago involving 535 families in a brownfield area in St. James, right opposite the Iberia Star, where you have all the constellation of hotels there, right? And that has enabled titles to be given to 535 householders, proper roads, proper water system, proper electricity, and that's a model. We work with the Housing Agency of Jamaica to do that, and we're going to move from there to other places because the whole idea of regularizing informal settlements within the tourism space. And later in my budget presentation, you'll hear more about the concept of creating these tourism innovation townships to have full integration of the tourism activities through the hotels with the communities that are across the road from them. So The convention center, we subsidize the convention center, as you know. The amount that is here is a budgeting. The marketing for the convention center has grown phenomenally. I must say, since the tourism ministry took over from SMG, the foreign company that was, the center has reversed its losses and are doing extremely well at this time. And I want to use the opportunity here to give credit to the new GM, Maureen James, for the tremendous work that she's done over the period to bring back that center and to make it so. In fact, we just won 2 great awards in Berlin for the performance of the convention center that you might have seen. Okay, the next one is the JCTI. Now, the JCTI, the difference with HEART deals with entry levels into the industry and also some secondary levels of late. What JCI does is to certify competence primarily. That is to say, we go into the hotels and we find cooks who have been there, great cooks, competent cooks, helping all the sous chefs that they bring from Austria and everywhere, but cannot move up to become a sous chef. So we go in there with the American Hotel and Lodging Institute and the American Culinary Foundation, top class. What I'm saying, no. This is a different. HEART does it in the generality of things. What we are saying is that we are linking you now to international accreditation institutions in tourism, so that, and I think you should listen to this carefully, so that you have 2 things. One, mobility within your organization. And we just did executive sous chefs. 5 we just graduated who are at Ziva and Zilara. 5 beautiful ladies who are now executive sous chefs. HEART doesn't do that. Doesn't take you to that level, right? And so what it offers secondly is portability. So now you can leave Jamaica and go anywhere in the world with your American Hotel and Lodging Institute certificate, well recognized, your American Culinary Foundation certificate. So that's the power of the development that we are making in terms of the human capital of the tourism industry. The last one is, right, so we now go to Portland. To infuse the unlicensed into the market and region by relaxing the rule, a dangerous precedent. And I think that the member will rethink that question at a later date. The next one was for Berrydale. Yes, we are going to be fixing Berrydale properly, and the ecosystem around is also being taken into consideration. All right. No, we did to that. Yeah. The one more I think was Robins Bay. Yes. Bear with me for my budget presentation on Robins Bay. Because there is a team out of the UK that's talking about some development that will excite you. So bear with me on that one. All right? Okay. License beach, that's a small issue. So we have a problem with the concessionaire, and I think there was some difficulty there when we were trying to upgrade, and some difficulty. So we're working that, and we will have conversation with you, member, in the process. We will. All right. The Heritage District, it's really 20 million to give you a first-class botanical garden in Bath. And that's what that is about, okay? Okay, we've covered everybody. The housing for the workers in Hanover. Now, this is good news for you, because we have a policy around housing for the tourism workers. And it relates to all investments coming into the country. Now, of 500 rooms or more must have a housing component for the workers of the industry. And for your benefit, Palladium, that is now doing earthworks for 1,008 luxury rooms, will add 600 rooms for the workers of the area. So it's happening all around. I just wanted to know. Okay?
Thank you so much. It is with great pleasure that we put the head for tourism. I don't hear the number yet. Head 17,000. Those in favor? Those against? Ayes have it. And that concludes the deliberations over the individual heads. No man, we're gonna do that next. We're gonna do that next. So Minister of Finance will take it from here.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, the members have before them amendments to the following documents: the estimates of expenditure 2026-27 for the financial year ending March 31, 2027. The Jamaica Public Bodies estimates of revenue and expenditure for the year ending March 2027. The Public Sector Consolidated Estimates of Expenditure 2026-2027, the Revenue Estimates 2026-2027, and the Government of Jamaica Fiscal Policy Paper for the financial year 2026-2027. I ask that the amendments be approved.
The question is that the amendments before the committee be approved. Those in favor? Those against? The ayes have it. I put the estimates of expenditure 2026-2027 for the financial year ending March 31st, 2027. The Jamaica Public Bodies estimates of revenue and expenditure for the year ending March 2027. The Public Sector Consolidated estimates of expenditure for 2026-2027. The Revenue estimates 2026-2027. The Government of Jamaica Fiscal Policy Paper for the financial year ending 2026-2027 as amended. Those in favor? Those against? The ayes have it. I put the Tax Expenditure Statement 2026, the Jamaica Mortgage Bank estimates of revenue and expenditure for the year ending March 2027, the Government of Jamaica Medium Term Debt Management Strategy for the financial year 2026-2027 to the financial year 2029-30 as printed. Those in favor? Those against? The ayes have it. The report of the Standing Finance Committee of the whole House of Representatives on the estimates of expenditure 2026-2027 for the financial year ended March 31st, 2027. The Jamaica Public Bodies estimates of revenue and expenditure for the year ended March 2027. The Tax Expenditure Statement 2026. The Jamaica Mortgage Bank estimates of revenue and expenditure for the year ended March 2027, the Government of Jamaica Medium-Term Debt Management Strategy for the financial year 2026-2027 to the financial year 2029-2030, the Public Sector Consolidated Estimates of Expenditure 2026-2027, the Revenue Estimates 2026-2027, and the Government of Jamaica Fiscal Policy Paper for the financial year 2026-2027 is before me. Is it the wish of the committee that I sign it? Those in favor? Those against? The ayes have it. The meeting of this Standing Finance Committee now stands adjourned. House Leader, the time being now 11:55. It
Thank
is
you,
5 minutes
Chair.
before.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you to the members, and see you next week.
na na. We want a peace for Jamaica. Yeah, yeah. We have to be our brother's keeper. Yeah, yeah. Jamaica live good, yeah. I make we enjoy life. What we feel safe at night. Jamaica live good. I better you and I. No say we future.